But shortly after we got in there, the rest of the troops were out in Manila. They'd come in, and we were in support. So we were actually firing. I was up on the tower. I had a tower. I was up in the tower doing some visual adjustments and observation from there. But we had a forward observer out with them, and we had a liaison plane up there. So we got busy firing pretty quick. But prior to that and during that time, yes, we had interaction with them. They were virtually all civilians. The only military personnel in there were medical people, nurses and doctors. And they were hard. I got some pictures of them. Man, they were in bad shape. You've seen them, skin and bones, just.
And then Manila at that time, because we interviewed one of the nurses that was sent in.
Oh, you did?
And
you mean she was a prisoner there?
No, she actually was sent in to that area to help with the prisoners, because the prisoners were not evacuated, from what I understand. Some of the ones that were in really bad condition, so they actually shipped in these nurses to come and take care of the prisoners.
Yeah, well, I try to understand. I don't know, because we left pretty soon. You know, we weren't there long. We weren't in the compound very long. We were in there. We got the Japanese out, took care of them, did some firing support. We probably weren't there more than a couple of weeks, if that much. Then we had to move out and go on, keep on going, because things were moving pretty fast. Manila was. I stood up on that tower and watched the main portion of Manila burn. The Japs were detonating the stuff. They were burning the city as they left. I mean, it wasn't our fire. We were firing, but that wasn't what caused it. They were burning it. So I stood up on the tower and watched that. So I didn't have a whole lot of contact with the prisoners. And I don't know I don't know what they did with them. I'm sure I guess some of them probably wanted to stay. You know, they were permanent residents of Manila. I don't know whether they want to do that or not. I have no idea.
And then at that time, when the university was liberated, the Japanese were still shelling the area. Is that correct?
Shelling the university? Yeah, they were trying, but they weren't. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Yeah, they were. See, we were firing our guns out of the compound, and they were returning our fire from somewhere, but they weren't doing. They didn't know how to shoot artillery. They didn't. Thank goodness.
So they hadn't zeroed in. They were just.
I don't know. Yeah, I remember some shells, but I don't remember anything. I really couldn't tell you, except for the fact that there was some firing. I don't know where it was coming from. I think maybe that we had liaison planes up there with it. I got 2 air medals from adjusting artillery fire from a little plane. And we had a plane up there. That's another story. The pilot. And he was adjusting fire on certain targets, and I really don't remember. Probably some of those guns that were trying to shoot at us. I would imagine we were interdictory fire. We were returning their fire. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. The pilot of that plane got hit. The plane got hit, and one of my buddy battery commanders was up there adjusting the fire. He had to land on the streets of Manila before the streets had been secure. 100%. We moved in with the prisoners, and the streets outside there weren't really secure. The Japs were still around. Japanese, excuse me, I was supposed to say. Not politically correct to say Japs. Hurt their feelings. Anyhow, his plane got shot and motor was gone. So he landed that plane on the main street just outside our Santo Thomas University. Had to side slip to come in between utility poles, and landed it safely. And we sent a crew out to get him and to bring the plane in. They had to put a man on each wing to guide the thing rolling in and out but because it was that close to the telephone. How he got it in there, nobody knows. But they were that kind of, they were those pilots, boy, they could fire. One time, one of the planes, I still correspond with one of the pilots. He lives in Kentucky. I call him, we do email. We've been to some reunions together. He's still there, good guy. Still flying a plane, I think. But he sent me a log of his, the flight log, which when I was working with him and we were conducting some fire, which was interesting. I don't know where it is. That's gone. But one time we were asked to adjust the naval big gun fire from some ship, destroyer or a battleship out. They had a mission to fire. We were on the Admiralty Islands, on some of the big island over there. We were over here. None of our troops were over there. They were just trying to neutralize something over there. So we tried to adjust those big guns fire. Man, we are the howitzer. They were this and big. I don't know whether we ever hit anything or not, but we tried. It was an interesting experience.